Yo, it's your boy Kig with Maga Hulk. Always remember, never forget, you ain't black.
You ain't black. Yes, sir.
Oh, no. All right, so I saw this awesome bit of graffiti in town that said conservative is the new punk rock. And I think that's true because the new counterculture, the rule breakers, the curfew breakers now are you guys. Kik, tell us what went down, man.
You know what? The governor wants to give a 10 o'clock curfew for law-abiding citizens. Don't we have constitutional rights?
Thought we did.
Yeah. Are they suspended because, the forefathers said, oh, only for a virus, though. If a virus comes, you're still good. And you know what? People came together and said, you know what? We're going to show not just the governor, but the United States, the country, that 10 o'clock curfews are unexcusable. It's intolerable. And we're not going to go for it. Not at all.
Not at all. We grown.
Yep.
We grown, baby. We're going to get out there and we're going to continue to live our lives. The governor is not going to impose his will on the American people arbitrarily like he's some freaking tyrant. That's not happening.
Hey, by the way, I hate to interject this, but this just came to mind. According to Bloomberg City Lab, the last time they put curfews down like this, they had 14,000 police refusing to let people go out after 8 p.m. to control the black population.
Whoa.
In 1965.
What a great thing to follow.
Yeah, like I literally just Googled right now. I literally just Googled curfew in Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? And the first video article that comes up is the racist history of curfews in America, according to Bloomberg, written on June 18, 2020.
Whoops.
Yeah, during the 1965 Watts riots, Los Angeles deployed more than 14,000 police against black Americans.
Oh, what a great thing to follow.
And here you are protesting in front of Eric Garcetti, the mayor.
Yep.
You're joining your brothers and sisters in the Watts riots. These mayors and governors can't stop imposing curfews on black people.
They can't.
It's getting annoying.
These white governors in Sacramento can't stop imposing curfews on black people.
They can't help themselves. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's great.
Do you have the B-roll?
Oh my gosh, dude. This is too funny.
It's too good.
Go ahead and roll the B-roll.
I don't know. He's probably looking it up. And by the way, my search history might be totally different than yours because I was doing research for the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. So anyway, keep going. I'm sorry I interjected.
So no, it's just a normal rally that we've done all the time. But, Huntington Beach really wanted to show everybody, and we did. Now it went viral. The people, DC Drano retweeted us. It's going all over Twitter and Instagram. And I really think it's a good positive thing because, for Americans that actually see this going on, they really need to see people that stand up. They really need to see people that are actually going to fight truth to power. Right, because what is this, a virus that has a 98% chance of survival?
Thank you.
And all of a sudden what the virus comes and creeps up after 10 p.m. Is that what's going on right now? Is that what viruses do?
Yeah.
No. See, the science, they keep saying the science. We'll follow the science. Well, the science tells you that lockdowns don't help but harm us. It actually makes us less healthy. It actually makes us more depressed.
Well, and from a parental perspective, I'm getting so tired of this because at what point do we start saying we need to open the schools for the children?
Exactly.
We are developmentally delaying 2 years worth of kids from making I feel bad. My daughter, fortunately, we've got a very cohesive family here. We've got a very cohesive church group. And hey, my friends are rebels. They'll come over and party. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But at the end of the day, there's lots of kids. She has no friends that she made from school. And we have friends who are single mothers who are now divorced and have a couple of kids who are not allowed to go to school. They're not members of our church group and so on and so forth. And their children are growing out without any socialized coping mechanisms for what will be 18 months by the time we open up.
Got it. Yep.
And what was Tucker Carlson saying the other day? 2, 3, or 4 children under the age of whatever classifies a child died of the 14 million in California's public education system. We literally have more kids that die with their parents in the cars on the way to school in the decades that have preceded this than we do from coronavirus amongst children. And the healthiest are the young teachers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like this, I have no idea. Even when the biggest, most conspiracy-laden brain of mine starts kicking into gear.
Yeah. We all have it. We all have it. We all have it. Don't act like you don't.
Hold on. One second.
Critical thinking.
Before we get too far forward, I want to talk about one thing. Make sure we don't forget this. So, Yesterday, you guys were at a couple of different rallies in Los Angeles, right? Extending from what, like 3 p.m. till 11? When did it? 11 p.m.
Oh, I started like at 9 o'clock in the morning.
You get to the early.
I was from 9 o'clock to 3 p.m. I'm overtime.
Oh,
I do this full time.
But I wanted to ask you though. The big thing was because I was on the video a second ago, and I'm pulling it up against some of the stuff. So last night, Huntington Beach, people actually stayed out past curfew. One, did the sheriffs come break it up ever? Did you get tear gassed and rubber bullets at any point?
No, actually, they stand by idly, and I think I saw a couple smiles out there. I'm not going to say the badge numbers, but a couple of them had smiles out there. Because
there was only one that didn't like us. I could tell. There was only one.
Carton, Huntington Beach, later.
Oh, whoops, sorry, I apologize.
No, you know what? There was. I think I saw something that said that the L.A. sheriffs we're not going to abide by the Newsom order.
Yeah, the mask mandate and all that stuff. Yeah, and I think LA also said the same thing. I don't get me mistaken, but see, this is the thing. People need to understand that these governors don't have all the power. Right? When you see, because we have states' rights, we actually have, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights actually has these provisions. So when these mandates or these orders or those, restrictions, I say, come into effect, and then you see videos like this going past 10 o'clock, or you seeing sheriffs actually defying those orders. You got to remember, those aren't unlawful. We have rules and regulations for a reason. We can, if it's unconstitutional, we can go against it. And here's the point: peacefully.
Yes.
But here's the thing, though: they don't have all the power. Once when we all don't, say, for instance, they all give the mandate out, and we all don't do it peacefully, what power do they have? They have no power.
And also, I'd like to interject here that a lot of people are cheering when they hear, for example, here's an article I pulled up on ABC7 Los Angeles, that most Valley sheriffs say they won't enforce California's curfew.
Exactly.
It says Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Merced counties, along with a bunch of others, say they're not going to, quote, make criminals out of law-abiding citizens. And a lot of conservatives start to cheer, saying, yeah, our team, and I don't look at that as a victory. To me, that is heart-wrenching, thinking that we literally have a government that is not able to unify, and a house divided cannot stand. And the number one thing that prohibition caused was a disregard for law that gave us what? The mafia.
Yeah, that's true.
We never had organized crime on the scale that we did until we divided everybody along these psychotic curfews against alcohol to such a degree that now cops who drink and cops who have friends over for Thanksgiving are all of a sudden put in this moral quandary of, do I enforce the law on my friends, my neighbors?
That's what's going on right now.
And we are creating a divided government that is what? Divided cannot stand.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very
well. But I have just a question before we move off this is, you guys have been doing these rallies for a while.
Yeah.
And again, like last night, there was a protest against the curfew, and no one did anything. It was a protest of police. Does it feel like almost like you're kind of winning out here in that respect? It seems like it's going the right way. You see what I mean? Like
winning.
They didn't come down with the tear gas and the rubber bullets and say, get out of here.
Because there's a universal understanding that we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we're the peaceful ones. At the end of the day, we understand, the police understand that those of us on the right, we are the peaceful ones.
Yeah.
We're not the ones out there rioting. We're not the ones out there looting. We're not the ones saying F you and defund the police and everything. We have been standing for the police on a consistent basis.
Yep.
So you better believe they're going to have a smile on their face, like you said, when we come out there and stand for what is right. You know what I'm saying? But we've got to understand that we can't go against the police when it comes to, if they got to shut us down. Like you said, there's a couple times where, you were out there and you're driving around, and when they said, okay,
cut it out, then it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
As long as you get the point across. As long as you get the point across. And for instance, if they're going to say 10 o'clock and we stay out past 10 o'clock, it's a positive thing because people get to see that there's people with actual backbone. And none of us want this continuation of these lockdowns or any type of restrictions because, again, we already know the facts. We already know the update from the CDC, 6%. All the information's already come out. We're at a point now that it's about political control, and as long as we continue to be obedient, they will continue to have more lockdowns because at the end of the day, all they're going to have is their big donors or their big business people that are going to make trillions off this when they shut down local businesses. And we've already had these local businesses go to bankruptcy. And then we want to do it again. Where are they going to go? They're done. They're done. And then that's where the economy goes, and that's where capitalism falls. And at the end of the day, that's when the radical left with their socialist agendas come sweeping in.
Mm-hmm. I think capitalism is going to work because enough of these businesses are going to leave for other states.
Exactly.
That a lot of this smaller foundation that these big corporations don't realize they depend on is going to have the mouth that feeds them. And to me, the ultimate test is, I sent this to you, Cody. I don't know if you can pull it up or not. If you can, that's great. If not, don't sweat it. But to me, the ultimate proof that I feel like we're on the winning side of this argument, at least here in LA County that we're fighting right now, is the fact that you guys were across the street from the headquarters of the Beverly Hills Courier and a Sotheby's location. And there were these big, beautiful 20-foot wide by 10 feet high glass windows, you know what I'm saying, that didn't have any plywood on them.
Speak on it.
And so I literally took a picture. I took this video that's like, we are across from the rally with everybody just like, yeah, man, going nuts, horns honking, sirens going off, the whole 9 yards. And then there was somebody typing inside, like, you know, behind these glass windows, because like, oh, the MAGA people, yeah, they won't. Well, wait, who's the rally? Oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. There's two different ones. You know what? No, they're fine. They're fine. Just don't worry about them.
Any other group, they're just like, hell no, grabbing their laptop and leaving. You know?
But that's what it is. I mean, again, we say this all the time when they boarded up Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, all that type of stuff. They weren't boarding it up for us.
Nope, they were not.
Come on,
they weren't burning it.
Boarding it up for the left.
Yes, exactly.
For Antifa and BLM, because you know that they're destructive, and that's how they do. That's how they operate, and that's how they get down.
Well, you know what? They took them down, so you know I'm going to advise them that you guys need to put it back up around January 20th. You know what I mean?
Because we have some broken hearts out there.
Yeah, you're going to have to do that.
Well, and this was also my first rally. I've always been busy, and I was out of state for the first 2 or 3 of them. I was doing other gigs that I had on all those Saturdays. This was the first time I had a chance to go to your Saturday rally. And the thing that blew my mind was I was actually on the phone with one of my producer friends. We're making this big film, super excited about it. And as we turned around off of Sunset Boulevard in order to hit the park, right? The very first thing I see is this old Asian lady taking out her little flagpole. It was like the cutest thing I ever saw in my life. And then like 4 or 5 other people come over to help her because she's got like her son's backing up this like 1993 Astro van, right? And then these like 3 obviously like Filipino and Latino dudes come with their little flags and they're fudging their stuff and they're holding their rolling up stuff. And the hilarious part that just really blew my mind and was kind of touching is the most diverse rally I have been to was the Beverly Hills Stop the Steal MAGA white supremacists
and liberal Beverly Hills.
Nothing but Asians. Dude, there was this black Italian dude. I'd never met a black Italian dude in my life who married like this Mongolian chick. And there were the people from Hong Kong, you know what I'm saying, with their big contingent there. Okay, I saw the dude with the Italian flag on front and then the big U.S. flag on the back. Like, there wasn't a tall white dude for 50 feet in either side of me. Except for me. And the hilarious part is like, I'm supposedly the stereotype here. Right. And I'm looking around and there ain't nobody that looks like me here. Whereas when you go to the Antifa rallies.
Oh my gosh.
They're all white.
Dude, it's all white suburban rich guys and girls. And or theirs or whatever we're supposed to say. And, you know, the most diverse experience. I mean, and me and Cody went to a bazillion Yang rallies. And Yang rallies, James, being generally younger, were pretty diverse as well. I'd say that was up until the Stop the Steal rally, honestly, that was the most diverse that we had.
You will find, especially on the West Coast, and I hate to break the bubble, generally speaking, most people get along with each other, cool. Everywhere, most places are quote-unquote fairly diverse when you go there. Yeah, it's...
No, I like thinking in binary terms because we are better and our team's better. Dude, like, I boil it down to completely
West,
binary tribalism, Cody. We all seem to
get along just fine out here, and it's a good thing, I think. I think it's pretty cool that we all get along. It's cool.
Yeah, but that's what it is. I mean, honestly, on our side, I always say we are the party of diversity. We're the party of tolerance. We're the party of love. We're the party of acceptance. But we are the party of diversity. Cardin stuck out like a sore thumb, okay? Which was amazing. Like, you look at it, the white guy is the minority. The white guy is the one that's standing out like a sore thumb, whereas it's a bunch of black people, it's a bunch of Asian, Hispanic, Latino, every other race, every other color, every other creed is represented at these rallies. So it's kind of interesting how the left always like to say that we are the party of racism. We're the party of the KKK, white supremacy, neo-Nazis, all these type of stuff. But when you come to our rallies, you see it's everything but. It's nothing but a lie.
And I always say that MAGA has no color. And for the most part, for the latest B-roll that we have from Huntington Beach, you can see the diversity.
Well, yeah, and that's what blew my mind is also how many foreigners were there.
Yes.
Like, holy crap.
Yes.
I mean, this was for Make America Great Again. You know, we're always stereotyped as these, you know, backwoods 17th generation Americans that are saying, hashtag America don't tread on me. And dude, I met a bunch of Lithuanians, fellow Polish people that I had a lengthy conversation with. We were meeting the dudes from Italy, from Southeast Asian countries they had escaped. And every single one of them said the exact same thing. They said, this is what we ran from.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what we ran from. And this election is exactly like the elections we just ran from.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, I mean, I was amazed, not just of the diverse experience, because to a certain extent, I'm kind of like Cody, where it's like, well, let's face it, an LA rally is going to be more diverse anyway, just because LA is more diverse. And the West Coast culturally has never been as divisive, even in the worst of its Jim Crow days.
Right.
Like, I remember the quote where like Jackie Robinson's wife said she never saw a segregated bathroom until she went to the Brooklyn Dodgers because she grew up in Pasadena, and it wasn't really as big an issue there. You know what I'm saying? So, what's it called? Either way, culturally, we've been a little bit more open, loosey-goosey, surfs up here, right?
Yeah.
So I was expecting a little bit more of a, you know, loosey-goosey, diverse, surfs up kind of rally.
Yeah.
But what blew my mind was the ratio of like immigrant to born here America. For a bunch of anti-immigrant haters, there was a whole lot of immigrants at that rally.
Exactly.
Well, I have a question I think I want to ask you guys, because one thing, after the election, especially I follow up more kind of left news sources, everyone's freaking out about what is Trumpism. I've always said it's kind of like a blue-collar Republican Party, I guess, instead of a white-collar Republican Party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It feels to me almost like what's happening. What have you guys seen? Does it almost feel kind of like a new Republican, a new group of self-identified loud and proud Republicans coming out? Have you noticed that over the months coming out of these or not?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, how would you define it?
How would I define it?
Well, I mean, I keep saying MAGA has no color, and I think that really is true because, you know, when we see this, like you're talking about with the with immigrants coming to our country and love this country, because we keep saying that America is a country of immigrants, right? But the idea that everybody understands what freedom is, you know, our history. Everybody wants freedom. And they see this country as a beacon of hope, right? The beacon of hope for the world to actually lead us in the direction of freedom, of self-governance, of small governance, more money in your pocket so that you can prevail. And these people from other countries did not have that. Then when they come here, they are the true patriots, more patriotic than the citizens here that are spoiled, that are what do you call it?
Luxury beliefs.
Yes, exactly. And so that's what we see. We see that love. Now, for people that are here, right, we feel it too. We know the history. But then we see the other side and they don't know. They don't know the history. They don't know what it is. And so when I see the movement, it's not white. It's not Republican. It's not left or right. It is patriotism, nationalism on a whole nother level, 1776. Impression it to the world.
You know,
1776 worldwide.
I would like to add on to your little phrase here because, you know, I'm going to give you my dad joke, my boomer meme.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
I don't like using.
I
don't like using MAGA too much because I think it's a little bit polarizing and tied to an individual figure. So maybe the new conservatism. Actually, we'll go with your MAGA example. We'll just go with it. I haven't figured out a better moniker
I didn't say it was back for that.
But,
I was saying overall.
So you say MAGA has no color. I don't think from that rally, I could definitely say the MAGA has no color, but it definitely has a work ethic. And that's working class.
Yeah.
Because whether they were the wealthy people there, because I mean, we had some ballers there. There was that Lithuanian lady that I was talking to extensively, who had her entire extended family there. You know what I'm saying? She was a riot. Like I think she was the mom of like seven. Like there was like 7 people there or whatever.
Right.
And she was talking about the way the elections used to be in Lithuania. I mean, she had an Yves Saint Laurent bag that was probably like $2,000. You know what I'm saying? She had a YSL bag. And like I was noticing like some of like the shoes that some of these like better dressed ladies were rolling up on. You know what I'm saying? It's
high
like,
class.
You know, and all of the cars that were driving by, I know it's Beverly Hills, but I mean, there were some Maseratis and some Escalades. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like there was a bunch of people in Toyota Camrys, you know what I'm saying, cruising by going like, meek, 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 you know? I mean, there were some like train horns and lifted freaking Hummers that I was hearing.
Right? Well, but I mean, like the idea, like it's people on
but they were all
attendance,
working.
right?
That's the thing, though.
There was this, you know, perception for a while of Republicans as kind of the country club, Wall Street types, and not in a disparaging way. That's not what I saw at all last night. I'm seeing more of this. I guess they call it like populist right? But I'm just wondering, have you noticed over the time you guys have been out there, like last night and stuff, Huntington Beach, is that kind of growing more and more? Are you seeing a kind of big tent thing showing up at these rallies, or is it kind of the same people? I'm just curious.
I mean, I've seen a diverse kind of collective coming together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not necessarily, I mean, you have your regulars. Don't get me wrong. You have your regulars, but there's always some people new of different diverse backgrounds, which I freaking love. Like what Carter was talking about and Kick. You know, they see that we're the party of diversity. You know, these foreigners, they see that we are the party of love. Only in America will you can wave an American flag and they call you a racist.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what
Twilight
the left
Zone.
does. That's Twilight Zone.
Meanwhile, the Hong Kong
Twilight
people
Zone.
are there like, woo!
Right.
Yeah.
USA. They started the USA chant. It was the Hong Kong people
There
who
you
started
go.
the USA chant.
You know?
It was them.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what you see when it comes, and they're always coming to the right because they understand they have a love for our country. We have a love for our country.
No.
That's what's it's I would have to say it's almost all on one side. When it comes to the right, we are patriots.
Yeah.
The right are us on the right are known as patriots.
Yeah.
The left is known as those that hate America.
Yeah, but you want to know what? This is where we also do have to lay a lot of responsibility at the feet of the Republican Party, though. And we talked about this on our last show. Because I got to tell you, one of my biggest frustrations when I served on the local GOP was we had stopped sending representatives down to where they swear in the new citizens. The Democrats from our district send down 2 people once a month to say, welcome, congrats on your new citizenship, register to vote, hashtag sign the Democrat part right here so we can send you mailers and you stay informed. Like half the reason, and we were going to talk about how California is redder than the media says, as evidenced by, you know, all of these press releases and the voting numbers and so on and so forth. But part of the reason why I think it's redder is because your average person that's just happy to be in America and is living the more conservative immigrant lifestyle, just because they get sworn in and they're kind of apolitical, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And all of a sudden show up on the Democrat rolls doesn't necessarily mean that these people are thinking, yeah, dude, we need to build 27 different bathrooms for the 27 different genders, just like the New York City Commission on Human Rights is doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how little do they know they get to choose? Who do you want to be in charge of Northrop Grumman when we blow up all these countries? Do you want to be a beautiful woman, a proud woman of color, or would you rather be the same white guy? It's basically the choice for most of these people, but hey.
So anyway, that's another thing that made me really think we've been failed by the Republicans. We've been bamboozled by the Democrats. There's a lot of personal responsibility that needs to be taken because I actually think the Republican Party has been the working classes party for over a decade. It's just that the media kept portraying it as something it wasn't. And because the conservatives weren't talking with each other, they didn't realize how much, holy smoke, there's more conservatives around than I realize. Because people think Hollywood's super liberal. Dude, if every single person that voted for Donald Trump had to wear a red shirt to work the next day, you would see like 60% of the movie studios and everybody that works at them, you'd see 60% of them wearing shirts.
That's fantastic.
Because let me tell you, the donors don't show up to work.
Man,
you know
that's a
what
good
I'm
point.
saying?
Love it.
The donors don't show up to work. They write a check for $1 million and say, I expect 5 in 6 years.
Yes.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
true.
That's it, dude.
That's good. That's good.
Hey,
Sheesh.
yeah, kid tested, mother approved. That was a good one. See? Dad jokes work sometimes. All right?
And he got me on that one.
No, you the
Dad
king
jokes
of
work. That's funny, dude. So anyway, Maggie, you want to talk about, you had a chip on your shoulder about Harry Styles. I'm unfamiliar with the situation. What's going on, man?
Okay,
this is important to you.
It's very important to me because it just further perpetuates the idea that men.
Is he the one that wore the
That wore the daggone dress. You understand me? What? Look, Harry, what are you doing, bro? I mean, look, I have a problem with this, man. I have a problem. Houston, we have a problem, okay? Because at this point in time,
things that only MAGA can say.
And I'm going to say it, daggone it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say it. But here's my issue is that, look, if you want to wear a dress, you do your thing. I ain't mad at you. But when you try to publicize it, you know, and you're trying to make it seem like this is normal. This is not normal.
It's not.
Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro spoke out against this, and they got smashed. they got smashed on it because like, look.
So what was your beef with it? That some dude wore a dress? I could care less.
I can care less with that. I just don't like how
I kind of like it when I was single because then like they're taking themselves out of the dating.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in there. All y'all need to be wearing dresses left and right. I see 5 hot chicks here and 15 eligible dudes.
And they
7 of you guys go put on a dress. See, I'm promoting this cheese at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it is weird though, because when you think about it, normally you do a fashion shoot on the cover of Vogue to sell clothes, right?
Right.
Do they really think they're selling these things to anyone? Like,
No,
dude, what's the
no.
angle? What's the angle? Why are they doing this? Is any dude running out to buy this
what
magical
it is?
kilt?
You know the answer to that better than anybody because it's the luxury beliefs things. The luxury brand now has to show off luxury beliefs. Because you said this better. I can't remember the article, but the author in the New York Post said, you know, you used to have to look at somebody and you knew they were wealthy because they had a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like, not Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas in Wall Street.
Yeah.
Had that big fatty old cell
that's
phone.
how you knew,
We knew he was the top dog because he was
'cause he had
walking
the
around
cell
with a
phone.
celly.
Yeah.
My dad worked for Prime Matrix Cellular back when that was an actual company that's now defunct. And I remember like my dad having a cell phone. He was like almost embarrassed to whip it out at church. They didn't realize, he's got it through his company because that was like what the millionaires had.
I
You know
got
what I'm
you.
saying? But now freaking homeless people have cell phones.
Yeah.
So you can't look at somebody owning a cell phone and realize, this is a wealthy person because of a luxury item. What is the luxury now are the luxury beliefs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Virtue
I believe
signaling.
girls are boys. You know, as much as we all look, if I had a friend that was committed to the transgender transition, I'd call him he, she. I'd call him whatever the heck my friend wants to be called because I take a bullet for my friends and I'll roll over for my buddies, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to fool myself and think that, you're pushing a lot of dresses for dudes by having a cover on Vogue. I'm not going to clutch my pearls and get pissed and think that it's the second coming of Jesus either. But at the same token, I think it shows how the real reason why the Republican Party is becoming working class right now is because the Democrat Party and big Hollywood and big tech has chosen to go the route of virtue signaling luxury beliefs instead of actually pushing items. It used to be the Victoria's Secret models were racially ambiguous because that's what pushed the most bras and
There's
panties.
kind of a scary conclusion there, right? They used to just want your money.
Yeah.
Buy the phone to be rich. Now they want your mind. Think this way
That's
to
it.
be one of
That's
us.
it.
And you know what?
To be one of us. Yes.
And you know what? It is so it's so weird that it's just the absolute disnorm. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's okay. So here's your thing. This is a free country. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Okay. We're all on the same page with that. Everybody's tolerant.
Yeah.
But see, we've talked about it, and we all know that there's an attack on normalcy, and there's an attack on the children.
Masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. 35 genders or whatever number is next.
Yeah.
More is coming.
Yeah.
The indoctrination of children.
Come on.
Sexualizing them.
Let's go.
The colleges, the liberal ideologies,
You got it.
of brainwashing, and then we have to sit here where it's mass spread on Hollywood that we can't get away from, and they want to put this and shove it
Down
in
your throat.
face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just really an attack on normalcy at this point. I really do. So just
Yeah,
do
but
whatever
who
you
cares
want.
about the attack on normalcy? I love what Cody said. That was super deep, and I never thought of it that way. They used to want your money. Now they want your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's
and that's interesting. There's actually a guy, Barty Erlod, that wrote about the biggest change that Christianity brought was that it was a desire for your belief, not just, you have to give sacrifices. And you don't have to believe in Baal as long as you're sacrificing a goat. And religion predominantly in the ancient world was based upon action. But then all of a sudden it became based upon belief. Like, do you believe in a savior and so on and so forth? Now they motherfucking want your mind.
I mean, think about it. They've got all the money. They've got all the money.
Your money to your heart. And now they're like, no, we want your money, your heart, and your mind.
Well, that's what the left is. I mean, you have to virtue signal in such a way that, yes, whatever you say, yes, I bow down to the left. You know, you saw the white people bowing down in front of blacks, to show they're putting their fists in the air. I'm a part of you. I'm one of you. Don't attack me. And that's what it is. That's what it's become. It's don't attack me. I'm one of you. And whatever I got to say, whatever I got to do to show my allegiance, then I'm going to do that. And I'm sick of it. And that's what the left is doing.
That's what they want. They just want attention at this point.
They
it really
don't.
is. And it's annoying.
There's nothing wrong with that. If he sells a bunch and gets an extra movie out wearing a dress.
No.
Oh, come on, Maga. You wouldn't put on a dress if you knew that you could get... Hold on.
Nope.
If you could get an action movie deal with Stallone, written by Tom Perry with Digimon Hansu
all aboard
and Jason Statham. You know what I'm saying? And you would be the dude doing the machine guns through the brick wall with Michael Bay explosions. You wouldn't wear a dress once on Vogue?
Not once.
No.
That's sacrificing the...
I would wear a bikini to get that movie role.
Give me one more.
First of all, you would look great in a bikini, okay? Let's do this, you know what I'm saying? But I'm standing on the courage of my convictions at this point in time.
Yeah.
I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to feminize masculinity. I know that, especially when it comes to the black community. Yeah. You see this all the time. They're always trying to put a black man in a daggone dress, put him out front of some type of movie, some type of billboard, some type of...
You've seen Hollywood.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
And I'm not for that. I'm going to stand on the courage of my conviction and say, no, you are not about to further tear down my community, further tear down this America, try to make something that's absolutely abnormal normal. And that's what it was. It used to be like when you dress up and put a man in a dress, it's funny. Yeah. It used to be funny. Like, it's not normal.
It's not funny no more. It's not funny no more. It's not funny anymore.
This is what's going on a consistent basis.
Yeah, because it's an attack on the children as well. Because they're forcing it onto our children.
Thank you.
And see, here's the thing, though, is that, you know what? At this point in time, it is an attack on men.
Woo!
It is. And with any society, we all know that attack on men is an attack on society. I think it was Stalin that said it. I don't remember who, but it said, first go after the men, so you have the women, or you have the children, so follow the women. And I might be paraphrasing, but it's so true. It's so true. And in today's age, with this toxic masculinity and this whole attack, and Hollywood's behind it, the left's behind it, 32 genders, and, my children aren't going to be raising this.
Nope.
It's not going to happen.
Nope.
Because I know that down the road, generations going down, our society won't look the same.
No.
It will not look the same in this path. It's not going to happen.
Well, you had the strong men. I mean, you look at World War II, you had men.
Yeah.
People who were 18, people who were 17 years old trying to get into the service, right? Lying about their age so they can serve their daggone country. Yeah. That's what these men were doing, these real men, okay? Kids who became men under courage under fire, you understand me? Now you look at it, it's, if you spell my name wrong on a soy latte cup, I'm pissed.
Or there's a straw, the wrong straw.
Or there is a straw at all.
Yeah, at Starbucks. And see, I think it has to do with the fact that we actually had fights to fight as men, and then now we're so privileged that we don't have fights to fight.
Yes.
So then we make up fights. We make up stupid oppression.
They need
it. They find like, okay, there's one cop that killed a black man, and it's always less than the average white people getting killed by cops. It's always usually double. And then I have to fight that battle because there's no other fight to fight.
Well, and it distracts from the real battle because half the time there's actual civil rights arguments to get made.
Yes, sir.
And they make it a racial thing instead of making it what it really is thing, maybe a policy or a training thing or a resources thing. I'm actually in the mindset of we don't need to defund the police. We don't even need to limit their funding. I think we need to triple it. And I love Andrew Yang had this awesome idea that was actually echoed by Joe Rogan, where he said, I want federal funding so every cop is at least a blue or a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, that would be good. Fantastic.
Do you want to see? We're arguing about whether chokeholds should be necessary. Man, this brother should be able to put him to sleep, tuck him in, and then stick him in the back of the ambulance in one perfect little paddy wagon, and then take on another fight. Like, I want every one of our cops not to be bumbling idiots that are defunded.
Right,
I want them to be motherfucking Jackie Chan
doing
helicopter kicks. You know what I'm saying? Taking on one dude versus five. Like Tom Cruise and freaking Jack Ryan. That's what I want.
Hit those pressure points.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude.
That's what I want too. I feel that. I don't want to defund the police. I want them funded even more so that they're even more effective at their job, because that's what the police is there for. They're protect and serve. Okay, how are they going to protect and serve with less resources? You daggone
and let's
idiots.
make it such a high-paying job that you don't have to be corrupt and in with the union boss.
You got it.
And in with the chief of police.
You got it.
In order to get the extra hours to make the overtime, so you make $200,000 a year. Let's make it so kids aspire to be a police officer.
a good point.
Let's make
That's a good point.
Because now kids graduate and they aspire to be on like Wall Street and like, oh, I'd love to be a banker. Dude, bankers are dicks. I'm sorry. like 90% of them.
And they're usually ugly too, and like old and like no hair.
I'm sorry, but it's like 90% of these cats. I meet them. They're smooth talking brothers that would sell their mothers.
Yes.
All right. They would sell their mothers to make an extra percentage on whatever dividend. Just dishonest dudes, man. You know. And so why are kids graduating from I would see this at BYU. Like guys would graduate and you have to chase the dollar in order to survive and feed for your family. So you have benevolent desires to go get that $250,000 job because once the government's done raping you of taxes, both federal and state here, you're only left with $120,000, which is only $10,000 a month, and you're freaking once you pay off your mortgage and you pay off your health care here, over 60% of that is gone. So you're surviving off disposable income of only about $48,000 a year after taxes, mortgage, and health costs, right? So they all aspire to these high-paying gigs, and what are those? Those sales gigs. And dude, you meet them like I'd serve missions with these guys, wonderful spiritual men that would sacrifice for anybody, do service projects, lay down their lives for people in need. And you meet them 2 or 3 years after being like a sales guy for one of these big Fortune 100 companies, and they're different. They lost some of that, like, and I got into sales too, but for me, at least I never lost that. Okay, I'm doing it for a reason.
Right.
It's so easy when you're chasing that dollar to get lost in the dollar and the thick of thin things. So why do we have a society where these young men are graduating and hoping to become bankers? Why aren't they hoping to become cops? Because those guys make $500,000 a year and they're mother freaking Navy SEALs. You know what I'm saying?
That's
one
real.
thing that's happening right now, and it's I have this pulled up, and this is just one article, but this is endemic of what we are seeing elsewhere, is that they don't want money, dude. American kids want to be famous on YouTube, and kids in China want to go to space. Survey and Business Insider. Check this out. So a recent survey, 3,000 kids, but that's every poll ever. It's a couple thousand
thinking it's us, Cody. I like thinking it's them.
Listen to this. Being a YouTube star was a more sought-after profession than being an astronaut among kids in the U.S. and the United Kingdom. But again, I would say young people in America want to be famous.
They
want clout. They don't want money. They'll
They
sleep
do
in their
want
van
clout,
if they're famous and everyone loves them.
But you get that out of your system by the time you graduate from high school.
I don't think so, though.
8-year-olds,
I don't think so.
Because we never force our kids to grow up because we keep upping the age of when you can buy this, when you can get your license.
But hold on.
You're not a real adult till you're 25 now.
The idea, though, is like if there is a cultural problem with the jobs people are taking and the roles they're taking, right? Something I pointed out, but like what? Is anything being done right now, A, you think? And like, B, what can regular people do about this? I mean, dude, if we live in a society where there's more people than you can count who wake up every day, like how can I screw with everyone's head today, spend their whole day doing it while you're washing the dishes, walking your dog, doing your regular day things. They don't. They work 9 hours screwing with you, thousands of them, and they go to sleep. Like, if that is it, what do you do? You know? That's what I was wondering. Like, it's one thing to just kind of like say, well, all this stuff's going on, but if there is a bunch of stuff working together against you, what do you do? And if there isn't, what do you do?
Okay, I will this is my small opinion that we can toss to you guys. I always approach youth, having been a voluntary seminary instructor, a voluntary Boy Scout merit badge counselor, the whole 9 yards. I volunteered with youth a ton. A lot of these stats are a little bit deceiving. And I always approach kids thinking they're smart, not thinking that they're dumb. And when you do that, your vision changes. Because I think you're right. A lot of them do want to be YouTube stars, but they're smart. I wanted to get into movies, but I was smart. And I knew that I couldn't do it just by begging my way in or auditioning my way in. So I went out and I got my pest control sales job.
Let's go.
So I could afford to buy my own equipment. So I could afford to, get the option rights to my own scripts. So I could even invest in small independent films and so on and so forth. So though my goal to get into film, radio, and television and entertainment was always the number one thing I would say on a survey was what I aspired to, I was smart enough, especially as a young man, to know that, hey, nobody's going to roll out a red carpet and say, oh, you got discovered, kid. We're going to give you your own radio show. No, I had to buy this. And I had to save up for this. And I had to save up for this. And I had to beg my buddy Cody to come here and edit for me. You know what I'm saying? And that there was a work ethic that was your hike to get to the precipice. So I think, yes, culturally, America's loud and it's proud. And honestly, a lot of that we have to thank the black community for. The injection of what Black culture has done to our pop culture, all right,
got you.
can be laid at the feet of our immigrant groups. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And can be laid at the feet of the Black community. Rock and roll, the American music form, exists because of the pentatonic scale that was brought over with the slaves in the South, mixed with the 8-note Christian scale. Was how you got blues. It's how you got rock. I mean, this is undeniable fact, right? So just because we say, oh, our kids want to be YouTube stars while their kids want to be astronauts, because if you say you want to be a YouTube star, they like beat you over there. You know?
So I want to get your thoughts on this. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. Quick aside though, just right now I'm going to pull it up. The Trump legal team just distanced themselves from Sidney Powell. They said she is not a lawyer for the president in his personal capacity, and that she is practicing on her own. So what do you guys think about that?
Oh, that's breaking?
Yeah, that Trump Pence just released a statement about 20 minutes ago. I'm going to pull it up right now and show you guys.
Wait, so is the Kraken going back into its cave?
Yeah, I guess.
Where's
the
Kraken?
What's going on?
Is it because she got into it with
Tucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson.
I have no idea. I'm pulling more up right now. I'm just wondering, off the rip, what you guys think? Because when we were at the thing yesterday, I saw a bunch release the Powell signs and stuff like that.
Hey, while you're looking that up, I'll just finish my thought with a stat.
Okay.
My mom was a public educator, and she would always get really, really frustrated whenever parents would come to the parent-teacher meetings or to the school board meetings and say, well, in Japan, kids average 85% on the test, while our school district only averages 75. They're a full 10% better than us. Their education is 10% better. Yeah, this and that. And then she would get so frustrated because she'd sit these people down and she'd say, did you know that over there, if you're not showing proficiency in math, by the time you're 11, you're tested out. By the time you're 13, you're put in a trade school. Your high school experience is carpet laying. Your high school experience is small machine repair. Your high school experience is, kid, here's a drill and a lathe. Go learn how to metal work. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Whereas here, we literally train everybody. If you don't know how to factor trinomials and your language delayed because your parents are immigrants, we're going to get you a personal aid. We're going to send you to ESL. We're going to send you to resource specialists. We are going to drag every kid from the barely functioning on the spectrum autistic kid with 7 therapists all the way to the genius, you know what I'm saying, that literally goes home and unironically reads the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to drag every single one of those kids through our K through 12 public system. So when you test all of our kids, yes, we only average 75%. But when we test their kids, we're only testing the best. If you take our best versus their best, we still do better.
Oh, how about that?
You know what I'm saying? So I don't worry about these stats about how like, oh, American kids want to be YouTube stars versus their kids want to be astronauts. Because literally over there, if you say I want to be a YouTube star, what do you think your dad, who's in the CCP, is going to say? Yeah, go for it. I'd love it if you were on the most censored platform in America, in my country. You know what I'm saying?
Think it boils down to values at the end of the day, then, because what is not being taught, or what's being taught into these kids as they grow up is values. We don't have that anymore. I mean. TV's raising our kids. YouTube's raising our kids. Netflix is raising our kids. And to credit what Cody was saying, you see what's going on YouTube. You see these young actors, not actors, but YouTube stars. You know, at a young age, clocking, playing video games and getting paid for it. So the value of education is not really there anymore. It's the value of being, I want to be known. I want to be this guy who makes a lot of money playing video games. You know, it's not where it's let's get an education. Let's do something for our community. That's not there anymore. So I think we need to get back to values. We need to get back to wholesome values, teaching it as kids, teaching that to our kids, teaching that to our children if we're going to improve our society.
Yeah, which also means we just got to get a better job of having examples come out. And that's why really I think rallies like your rally were so good, because I saw 3 looks on the people's faces when I was out there. I saw the people that were for it, that were driving by, they're like, you know what I'm saying? That are like all about it and putting their flags out the sunroof. You know what I'm saying? Then we saw the people that were cowards waiting there until the light turned green before they could flip people off. And by the way, I got video of that. If you could pull that up
all
on
the time.
all the time. Like the haters, the MAGA rally haters are such cowards, because you'd see them sitting there just like, hurry up, green, you know?
Turn green.
And instead of being loud and proud and just saying, F you guys right from the bat, you know what I'm saying? They would just wait until the light turned green, and they'd be like, nah, and then they'd start yelling as they flipped you off on the way out.
Come on,
so
now.
I saw 3 looks on their faces. I saw the people that were all about it, yeah. I saw the people that were haters and cowards and waited to flip you off until they left. But I also saw a ton of people that were like, oh my gosh, this is happening in LA?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, and whipping out their phones to video and be like, I can't believe there's this many conservatives in Los Angeles, you know? And so that's what makes me think if these values are going to be taught, it's going to have to be because conservative celebrities and culture icons step forward and take up the mantle of the conservatism that they actually think of. And that's starting to happen.
Yeah.
That they used to dodge the questions.
I feel it.
Yeah, now they're willing to even answer questions. I saw Matthew McConaughey on that Australian TV show where he said, I'd love to talk about Donald Trump, but I demand a more open forum. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to give me more time, and you got to. But like, I mean, it's they're starting to get the guts. There used to be the James Halls, that was it, and then there used to be like the Vince Vaughns that would blame it on libertarianism. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now you're actually getting people saying, no, this is batshit crazy, and I reject it, and I'll talk to you about it, but I'm not going to give you a soundbite that ruins my career.
You got it,
and I'll take that. That's the next step. You know what I'm saying?
That's good because that will happen in a heartbeat. A lot of people are scared. Like you said, in Hollywood, there's a lot of conservative minds. Yeah. But they're so scared. They're so frightened to be able to speak out in fear of their careers, in fear of their jobs. There's a lot of people I talk to all the time. They said they would love to wear the MAGA hat. They would love to go out there and go to a rally. But if they get caught, and that one picture comes out with them, they're done. Yeah. They're done with their friends. They're done with their family. They're done with their career. They're done. And it's going to take people like us to stand up and stand out and be like, look, I don't care. Yeah. You can censor me. You can dox me. You can do whatever is necessary. But we're going to stand up for conservative values. We're going to stand up for conservative principles. We're going to stand up for what's right in our country. And I don't care what you try to do to me because it's standing up on the
and we're going through it. I mean, we're
going through it right
now. We got censorship on our own pages. And we're stepping out, we're standing strong, and we're showing people that you can do it. This year you have to do it. And you know what? It's swinging for the fences. And I think with this new 4 judges overseeing the 4 key states for the election, that's swinging for the fences because I don't think correct me if I'm wrong. What was 2000 the Bush and Bush and Gore, those same lawyers, Amy
Coney Barrett was one of them. Brett Kavanaugh was one of them,
and they were also on there. And then, so think of the swing for the fence when he put them in, that he knew, like in The Art of War, right? That this would come in the 2020 election. That if it did come, he had those same judges.
You're ready.
Ready to go. And look at they're now on the states for the
and I hate to say it, but that's one of those. I'd hate to think that there was a Supreme Court justice that was doing something that was not straight down the line interpreting the law. You can't drag Brett Kavanaugh through the "you're a gang rapist" trial.
Oh my goodness, that was horrible.
Amy Coney Barrett through the "you're a Catholic priest torturing gypsies" trial.
Clarence Thomas.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't drag Clarence Thomas through the digital lynching.
Yes,
or whatever he called it. You know what I'm saying?
Blacks who dang to think for themselves.
You can't drag those 3 brothers through that process and not have them coming out the other side saying, hey, the day of reckoning might just have come.
Hey, his face is so serious all the time. I saw a meme where Biden was like, "You ain't black," and he was like, with a stern face, "Well, you ain't president."
Oh, dude. That's savage. Well, what about this though? Because when you say, I think cultural icons need to step up on the conservative side because they used to exist everywhere. Yeah. During the Jimmy Stewart days, the Frank Sinatra days, there were just as many Republicans as there were Democrats, and they all broke bread together, and it was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. For decades.
Yeah, for decades. So we need to bring that back. But also, I condemn any Republican that's a talker. So many of these people, these rallies, go out, run for water board, run for school board, because I hate to say it, but they're trying to make it so the 15-year-olds can go into gender clinics without parental permission and start getting on testosterone treatments. Meanwhile, you need parental permission to freaking go tanning as a 16-year-old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can literally get abortions in California without the same parental consent that is required to go tanning in a tanning booth. Okay, and they're trying to do the same thing with gender transition. I got no problem with an adult that wants to go through a transition. I have a problem with all of this legislation where they're saying, oh, well, as long as there's 10 years between the dude and the minor, or no, adults really start at 14 if we're talking about transitioning. You know what I'm saying?
What is it, the Middle East?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So it's like that's where I draw the line. I got the problem with it. And the people that are the first line of defense against that are the school board members.
Yeah.
So run for freaking school board.
And that's what I was saying earlier, that we need to start drafting people.
Go.
And I keep saying that, drafting. I mean literally drafting. Like we drafted people in World War because we had a war. This is a mental war.
Yes, it is.
Against men.
Yes, it is.
Against common sense.
I don't like the term drafting, shall we say.
I want to draft them. I want to draft them.
Charismatically convincing
I will find
persuasion.
As in me going there, grabbing them by the collar and dragging them up.
That's great persuasion.
Vote,
that's great. And with those arms, that's great persuasion right there.
You're going to be persuaded. I'm going to persuade you heavily.
Dude, I was just thinking, this is a total aside, but like, you know how they used to have like kissing booths right next to the voting booths in like, like the 1890s and like the 1900s?
What happened to those kissing booths? What happened to those?
Yeah, what happened to kissing booths? Hey, first one right there, Kit Cunningham. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Pandemic happened.
The
pandemic.
But we should have Maga there, just like seeing if he could push up somebody. You're like bench press somebody. Like, if I can bench you, now you got to go vote. And we just have a MAGA Hulk bench press. You know what I'm saying?
I'm all for it.
Right across.
I'm all for it.
We will make a top number of people that do push-ups with the Hulk.
Yes.
And the highest number we get, we draft him for office.
Automatic. You put in. I hope you're smart. I hope you're not dumb as a brick. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you meatheads are dumb as. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice.
He said it.
I'm gonna be nice.
Lord, but again, no, I want to go back to this court thing, because election's very, very, very important.
Yes.
And this is swinging for the fences right now. Yeah. I really do. I really think that it's a roll of the dice that I think we can win with the odds, but at the same time, this is unprecedented. And here in 2020, we are seeing this right now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the actual what's going to happen in January and the fallback, because this is constitutional. But the left, people that don't know the Constitution, don't know how these things work. When it gets overturned and it goes back.
Well, I see. The thing is, for me, and I said this at the rally, I'm not even worried about if it gets overturned. I'm worried about whether or not we prove it was done ethically.
Exactly.
Because the only thing I'm interested in is figuring out if these Dominion machines are hackable or not.
Right.
Because they dragged us through a Russian interference thing for 2 years.
Yeah,
and we got our system's flawless.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We got an interference over here. We got one. We found one.
And the worst thing you could do to a society, a democracy or a republic, whatever you want to call us, okay?
Democratic
the worst thing you can do is make the people think their vote doesn't matter. Because then instead of turning to legal systems to settle their beefs, they turn to illegal systems.
You got it.
Let me tell you, you want to see gang warfare down south? Like, tell them that the cops ain't going to solve their problems for them. Tell them that going to the police doesn't do any good for you.
Right.
Like, you want to see financial money laundering, okay? Convince people that, trying to blow the whistle on somebody at a mega corporation that's doing something bad isn't going to work. Like, the worst thing you could do for a society is tell them that their elections don't work.
Right.
And that's basically what we're telling. The short-term game is destroying the system.
Fanatic Republic.
Yeah, I'm not worried about overturning it, but I am worried about really the integrity of the election and convincing the American people that there is not widespread voter fraud. But we keep coming out with like really damning,
it's getting out of hand.
Really damn and beyond the usual stuff, a guy got indicted for having 4,000 homeless people. Look, this election's not getting settled by 4,000 votes in LA County. But what's worrying me,
that graph though of Biden, when they stopped the count, Biden went straight up.
Once they stopped, and also I have no faith in a system that has no paper trail.
Yeah.
You can't
that's
recount.
Good. That's good.
Like, if these machines are really just taking these things in and they're tossing, like, no, hold on. I can't go spray a customer for pest control when I used to work at Orkin unless for 7 years I had their wet signature giving me permission to put a pesticide on their property in a box in my office. I have to hold my tax returns for almost a decade in case I get audited. Why doesn't a state election board have to say, okay, we're going to do a recount, and we could do a recount by hand right now of the entire 2013 special election in this 26-second district.
Got it.
Because here's the 10,000 ballots that we have. And sure, we'll use the Scantron, but even if we change the Scantron machine, we could have volunteers in here counting them 1,000 out at a time and be accurate within 0.001% of a percent. You know what I'm saying? So that's my only beef is I'm a federalist, but dude, let me tell you, whatever Florida's doing right needs to get exported right now to New York. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And whatever New York isn't doing right needs to get ended, and they need to hire some freaking consultants. You know what I'm saying? Clearly. Because like we sent them the USS Mercy, for heaven's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had a naval ship there, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So anyway, Cody, any of your thoughts, man? You know, anything? Yeah, you were thinking of that was your burning questions.
No, we addressed it. I just think it's really cool, interesting, especially what you guys are doing. Because again, like in the can't even call it fallout, the limbo of the election. A lot of people are wondering. I've been seeing it for years that what is happening is that there's this new growing. Again, like you said, it's not even like Republican or conservative. Just this new growing kind of populist movement. People are just like, I'm done with these people screwing me over in the government, lying to me, locking me down, doing all this nonsense. And I don't know. I think it's really cool seeing it, and I think it's interesting to see. I mean, again, last night you guys did the Huntington Beach event, and the police just largely kind of said, whatever, do your thing. I mean, there's going to be a tipping point one way or the other, right? Either the police are going to just say, you know what, we're enforcing every lockdown, but that's not what's happening. It looks like they're going the other way. I think it's cool you guys are there, because like there is something kind of interesting going on in big right now. The same way we talk about what happened with Gore and Bush. I mean, this is that times 2. I mean,
that's what I mean by swinging for the fences right now. We're swinging for the fences
this
right
isn't
now.
In Florida. We were seeing rallies in Atlanta. We were seeing rallies in Sacramento. People were going to rallies. We were in Beverly Hills.
DC, absolutely.
All over. So it's so interesting. And like I said, we kind of talked about what we want to talk about, but just more of anything else you guys have seen and just kind of the changes from the ground.
Well, I wanted to say this because, like I said, it wasn't left or right because we are all on the right now, and we do have conservative values. We do want lower taxes. But here's the thing. I think people now have this political shift right now. And it started with Trump, obviously, and it started with the frustration that's been going on with Obama previously and all the rest of it. We were talking about the left-right paradigm for decades. And, I'm seeing people when I go to these events, and I'm seeing people of all colors, like we talked about, all, nationalities. But I see we are all on the same page. You know what I mean? And it's people that are left, there are people that are right, there are people that are centrist. Like as the Overton window moves so far radically left, that there's so many people that feel like I've had enough. Yeah. This is my country. This is our country. This isn't a governor's country. This isn't COVID's country. This isn't China's country, right? And there is just this moment when I'm in this event or in this crowd and I see these people and we actually talk. We have the same exact conversations that you would have by yourself alone about, wow, I'm getting tired of this. Oh, wow, I'm getting tired of that. The conversations we have outside of the studio. Right. That we don't even talk about on this show. We're having those same conversations with those people out there. Yep. They're awake. They're and I hate to say the word woke because the left used to say the word woke, but they know that there's an attack on
why don't we just start saying woke-er? Like making shirts that instead of saying woke, it just says woke. With a hard R. You know like we're more
capital
woker.
R.
R-E-R. You know what I'm saying?
We're woker.
Yeah.
Capital R. Capital R. But I really want, if you're seeing this, I know you know what I'm talking about. You know your friends and family. We're all on the same page. That's what it is. This movement is not about Trump anymore. It's really not. And it's going to continue because it's not about MAGA. It's about our country. We're taking it back. And any type of foreign intervention, any type of corruption here in the United States, we're awake now. We're seeing it. We have our eyes on you. And that's it. It's all done.
Well, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine at the gym, and he was speaking on the same thing. He was like, you know what? I'm just glad, and he's not a Trump supporter, right? He's not a Trump supporter. But he said that the one thing he loves about Trump is he woke everyone up.
Exactly.
Everyone's now at least cognizant of what's going on in this country. You know what I'm saying? It used to be no one was interested in, I won't say no one, but a lot of people weren't interested in politics. Me included.
It wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool.
It wasn't
Hey,
cool.
there's stats to back up what you were saying. I mean, I got to tell you, this is the last thing I'll say before we break here, that the amount of lynda.com subscriptions and purchases of the How to Run for Political Office,
No kidding,
skyrocketed like 140%, something absurd. It like doubled or tripled.
There we go.
Okay, within the first like 6 to 8 months of Donald Trump getting elected. And the vast majority of those that were purchasing off of lynda.com How to Run for Political Office were actually women. And you'll notice that every incumbent Democrat that lost in the House of Representatives,
it was a wave
this
of
past
Yes,
election
sir.
was
Women.
losing to Republican women.
You got it.
All right. And
You
there was
got
a
it.
lot of Democrat women that toasted their Republican counterparts as well. Christy Smith could have been one of those. You know what I'm saying? We had that happen here where our Republican guy was tossed by a Republican girl. Now, she was also 10 times better looking than he was.
Of course.
That helps.
Of course. That always helps.
I mean, that brother, like, thank you for your service,
Yeah,
man,
but,
but you
you
ain't
can-
going to be seconding as like, your second gig ain't going to be underwear model, that's for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, she looks like she dropped out of like Fox News.
Let's
You
go.
know what I'm
You know?
saying? He was tan. He had a good tan. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only thing he had going for him, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's
So
it.
it's like there is that awakening, left, right, or center. I think it was that awakening. I have enough faith in the American people that once awoken, just like when people get cancer, they don't start eating healthy until they had a health scare.
You got it.
You know what I'm saying?
got it.
It's like until America had Trump, you didn't get this awakening.
Yeah.
So even if you're on the left and you hated the guy, you got to thank him.
Yeah.
Because you got a better chance now of, saying, we're going to fight the Trump agenda and winning a school board seat and getting some donors
Right.
than you did 4 years ago.
You got it.
Yep, and I've
You know
seen
what I'm saying?
and I've seen it because 10 years ago I saw this stuff and I was just like, when are people going to wake up? And when finally Trump came in and did it, I noticed that this 2020 election and all for the past 4 years that the Democrats and people that are in the government that have corruption, right? The corruption's come to light.
Got it.
They have screwed themselves over. They have screwed themselves over because right now they woke us up.
Oh yeah.
And we're coming for you. We're coming for you. This ain't gonna stop at the end of Trump.
All right. With that said, what is the name of our show?
You ain't black.
Woo!
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Oh no. You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Oh no.